And musicians and their fans paid tribute to the American country music star Loretta Lynn, who's died at the age of 90. The American country music singer and songwriter Loretta Lynn has died. She was 90 years old. She was known as the Queen of Country, her songs rooted in real-life experience and most notably on the autobiographical Coal Miner's Daughter. She had many other hits, of course, Don't Come Home A-Drinkin', Honky Tonk Girl and the feminist anthem The Pill. It's a career that spans 6 decades and she received more awards than any other female country recording artist. Well, Charlie Matos is a presenter at WSM Radio and an announcer at the famous Grand Ole Opry. He joins us now from Nashville. Thanks very much indeed for joining us. I mean, I guess Loretta Lynn, looking at it, she is the archetypal country singer, isn't it? She sang about what she lived.
Oh, absolutely, David. A pleasure to be with you this morning. Yeah, I think it was that honesty in the lyrics that just connected her with so many generations of country music fans, from Coal Miner's Daughter, which you mentioned, to Don't Come Home A-Drinkin', to Fist City. There was a feistiness, there was an honesty in her lyrics, in her singing that just made her so relatable to so many people.
Yeah, there are a couple of things that struck me, Charlie. One was how she made her mark. I mean, she was unrelenting in the early days, wasn't she? Pushing herself forward, along with her husband, but as a duo, they were determined to make it.
Yeah, and I think when you're in the process of being a trailblazer, you don't really realize you're being a trailblazer. You're just doing what you need to do to survive. In hindsight, we certainly appreciate that, and I think maybe the best compliment you can give to her is the series of great singer-songwriters who would use her as inspiration too. To this day, I think there are so many young artists who will quote Loretta or use her as inspiration. So that legacy continues. But yeah, it was not easy back in the day, and she paved the path for an awful lot of people.
I mean, she was married quite young, a very tempestuous marriage as well, from what I've been reading. But perhaps that was part of the success that for the best part of 50 years, she had so much, dare I say it, raw material to draw on.
Oh, and that the beauty of Loretta was she was unapologetically Loretta. You know, she didn't get her fame winning a game show. She wasn't auto-tuned or vocally corrected in the studio. She was exactly who she appeared to be. And I think that's what people loved. I mean, there is something about someone being honest and putting themselves out there. She maybe wasn't everybody's cup of tea, but those who loved her truly loved her for who she was, because there's an honesty there that I think to this day is still very much appreciated.
Yeah, authenticity is hard to beat, isn't it, Charlie? Thank you very much indeed for sharing your recollections, Charlie Matos. Thank you.
Yeah, Loretta Lynn was a Kentucky icon. Kentuckians who have gone into the music business say her influence on the industry is immeasurable. Tonight, they are reflecting on what she's meant to them and so many others. It's hard to sum up a legend like Loretta Lynn, but if you had to, it might be like this.
And Loretta Lynn is the most relatable star in country music.
Deidre Ransdell is the program director for Lexington Country Music Station 92.9.
Her story may be rooted deeply in Eastern Kentucky, and it may be rooted deeply in country music, but the songs that she sang and the topics that she related to other people, they're not just country, they're real life, they're people stories. And that transcends all genres. It just crosses every border.
And she tackled topics few others would. Several of her songs were banned for being too controversial, like The Pill, a song celebrating birth control. Ransdell said Lynn's words meant the world to women who felt unseen.
Well, she gave you a voice. You may be experiencing that same thing and you feel like you're fenced in. You feel like you have nowhere to go. You can't even talk about it with your family because it's taboo.
The Pill came out in a crazy time. So for her to put that on radio was just like, it took a lot of guts. And so I always think about her as being kind of the pioneer that really pushed through and set the bar.
J.D. Shelburne's a Kentucky native and UK grad who now works as a singer-songwriter in Nashville.
And it's hard to believe she's from the same state that we're from, and being from Kentucky, it means that just that much more, knowing that her roots started kind of where ours started. A lot of country music died today, so it's been kind of a sad time to really think back and reflect of just what she meant to me as an artist from Kentucky.
Ransdell says there will never be another Loretta Lynn, but there are plenty in the younger generations ready to take Lynn's torch and run.
Now, I think of Miranda Lambert first and foremost. She is very good at speaking her mind, and it doesn't always have to be popular. Maren Morris is doing a great job with that as well and taking a leadership role. And, you don't always win friends when you do that, but sometimes it's you discuss the things that need to be discussed.
Ransdell said Lynn's legacy will be hard work and determination, but also kindness and love. She said that what Lynn wanted most was to make a difference. Larry, back to you.
The legacy Loretta Lynn leaves behind in Kentucky isn't only significant in her hometown of Van Leer. Visitors stopped by the Kentucky Music Hall of Fame in Rockcastle County today to honor arguably its most prominent inductee. Evening Edition's Michael Burke reports from Renfro Valley.
Inside Kentucky's Music Hall of Fame, one inductee's display truly stands out today.
Knowing that we're losing a huge matriarch of Kentucky music, she well represented the state through her songs.
Songs that impacted the day-to-day life of this Hall of Fame's executive director.
Hearing those lyrics are always emotional to me. And it's like, and I hear your pain, and I hear your truth. And Loretta sang the truth.
Truth in those lyrics almost made you forget the incredible talent and forget how she made it out of this cabin along a creek in the smallest of Kentucky towns and onto the worldwide stage. The sadness isn't relegated to the Commonwealth. It crossed state lines as soon as word got out.
Last night I was at the Grand Ole Opry as a guest of a couple of our inductees, and the emotion. You could feel the love in that room. And as you walk through the Opry, they have got mementos of Loretta.
Just as they do here at Kentucky's Music Hall of Fame, which lost arguably its most significant member.
We may not have been a coal miner's daughter, but we felt her songs.
And that is what separates the good ones from the Hall of Famers. In Renfro Valley, Michael Burke for Evening Edition.
Hello everyone, we have breaking news into Country Cast. Country music icon Loretta Lynn has passed away at the age of 90 years old. Loretta Lynn's passing was revealed in a statement that was provided to the Associated Press by her family, which read, "Our precious mom, Loretta Lynn, passed away peacefully this morning on October 4th in her sleep at home in her beloved ranch in Hurricane Mills. The family also asked for privacy during this time of grief and explained that a memorial will be announced at a later time. The coal miner's daughter was a pioneer for country music, as she knocked down barriers by going against the grain and delivering us songs fearlessly that spoke of topics that were more frowned upon during their time. Songs like You Ain't Woman Enough, The Pill, Don't Come Home A-Drinkin' with Lovin' on Your Mind, Rated X, You're Looking at Country, and Fist City. And of course, we cannot forget her biggest hit of all time, Coal Miner's Daughter. Loretta Lynn resonated with fans as she came from humble beginnings out of Butcher Holler in Kentucky and remained a humble, honest soul throughout her career and her life. Loretta Lynn was also the first female country artist to receive Country Music's Entertainer of the Year award, first at the CMAs in 1972, and just 3 years later, she took the award home again at the ACMs in 1975. Loretta Lynn also brought home many other awards such as Grammy Awards, Artist of the Decade by the ACMs for the decade of the 1970s, and of course, she is a Country Music Hall of Famer. Loretta Lynn was absolutely admired in country music and had a very special way of making you feel as if you were a part of her family. That is how much she connected with her fans and listeners when she sang and even when she would speak and share her stories. This is a devastating loss for the country music community and her family. Our hearts and prayers go out to Loretta Lynn's family and their friends during this difficult time. Guys, thank you for tuning in to CountryCast. That will be all for today's video.
Lynn's family announcing her death, saying she passed away in her sleep at her Tennessee home. Bodie Brooks traveled to Lynn's hometown in Van Leer as the community remembers the star.
She came from humble beginnings, the coal miner's daughter. Loretta Lynn's famed childhood home has stood as a monument to her legacy and influence on classic country. Today, it serves as a place for those who loved her most to pay their final respects.
When you're looking at me, you're looking at country.
Loretta Lynn's long history of music began 60 years ago, but long before that, her family roots start here.
Dad said it pretty well filled up this whole room. All 8 kids could sit around the table.
Loretta's nieces were there sharing grief with fans from all over, making the pilgrimage to her Butcher Holler home.
Thought about it for a minute and I said, no, I really need to come.
Alicia Mitchell was on a family trip to northern Kentucky when she got the news at lunchtime.
Her personality and her attitude about life, she came from very humble beginnings. And even when she rose to stardom, she never lost that humbleness.
Proud to be a coal miner's daughter. We've had George Jones up here, George and Tammy's daughter, Georgette, little Jimmy Dickens, Bob Evans, and Stella Parton, just to name a few. They've all found Butcher Holler just like you all.
Behind the scenes, her nieces remember a woman down to earth and with a good sense of humor.
She said something like, I'm a picking, and she'd go picking her up. And I'm a singing type thing, you know. She was stoked. She liked to have fun.
She won every award you could in the music industry, but to those who knew her best, she stayed humble, above the glitz and glamour of the big stage.
She would say, I'm not the queen of country music, I'm the coal miner's daughter. And that's what she was. I mean, if you sat down and talked to her, she was as common as you and I. I mean, she was never above her raisins.
Yeah, she was real.
Except the memories of a coal miner's daughter.
In Van Leer, Kentucky, Bodie Brooks, Fox 56 News.
Some prominent Kentuckians reflecting on the passing of Loretta Lynn today, including Governor Andy Beshear, who released a statement saying in part she was a legend who blazed a trail in country music and telling the stories of Appalachia and Kentucky. She will be greatly missed, but her words and impact will live on forever. Kentucky's senior Senator Mitch McConnell also sharing his thoughts today, saying Loretta Lynn was not typical of the country music stars who burst onto the national stage in Nashville. She was tough, confident, and above all, honest about life in Kentucky. Along with all of her fans, Elaine and I are mourning the loss of this trailblazing Kentuckian.
I never thought I'd be here for this. Never expected it.
The coal miner's daughter laid to rest today at her Hurricane Mills ranch. Good evening, everyone. Welcome to News 2 at 6. I'm Bob Mueller. 100 guests said farewell to country music icon Loretta Lynn today. The singer passed away peacefully in her sleep at her home Tuesday morning. Today, a private burial service was held for family members and close friends. Stephanie Langston was in Humphreys County for the service you will see only here on News 2.
Well, surreal is how I would describe that moment when Loretta was transported from the mansion around the bend and in front of this memorial from her fans, taken to the family cemetery.
In the hills of Humphreys County, all seemed to stand still. A peaceful escort for the queen of country music, many with silent tears and heavy hearts.
It's just very humbling to be here today.
It was a trip to Loretta Lynn's ranch planned months ago for Michelle Powers and her sisters.
I love all her songs because they talk about her life.
And all she overcame.
And all she overcame.
Loretta inspiring the group of women as children from Indiana.
I think she leaves on so many memories and stories. She's a legend. You know, she's a coal miner's daughter. She is bad. She is a very cool woman. I respect her fully, so.
Loretta's story of triumph and continued grace resonating with fans from all over the world.
I'll bet you if she was up in there in her younger days, I guess, you know, she would probably invite you right into there. Who knows? Probably have breakfast with her.
It's true. Loretta loved her fans, and today mementos of thank yous shower her front steps, from flowers to burning candles, even a penny from Del Berger.
Picked it up because it's supposed to be good luck, and I put it in Loretta Lynn's pot there.
a small token as the hills from Kentucky to Humphreys County are a bit quieter tonight, but we all know the music of Loretta Lynn will forever be heard around the world.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter.
Loretta's family at peace knowing that the Queen is now home in heaven. Reporting from Hurricane Mills, Stephanie Langston, News 2.
And plans for a public memorial service are forthcoming. News 2 has more coverage of Loretta Lynn and her life. You can find it all on our website at WKRN.com.
The band leader of country icon Loretta Lynn is remembering her life one day after the 90-year-old died in Tennessee.
He's from Grand Rapids and credits Lynn for launching his career. News 8's Kyle Mitchell is in studio with more on the legacy that she leaves behind.
Sue and Brian, Bobby Vogel considers the country star as close as a family member. The years of performing and touring with Loretta Lynn is something Bob Vogel will always hold close to his heart.
She was like a fine piece of furniture that still had a little bark on. You didn't have to take your shoes off around Loretta Lynn, you know. She was absolutely, totally down to earth.
The Grand Rapids native spent 26 years playing guitar and leading Loretta Lynn's band. News of her death is still setting in.
It's still hard knowing that she's gone. It's tough.
Vogel last saw Lynn just over a month ago, visiting after the death of her longtime housekeeper.
Boy, we had the loveliest time. We spent about an hour. We laughed, cried, did it all, went all down memory lane. It was nothing but fun. I'm so glad I got a chance to do that.
The guitarist moved to Tennessee after getting a degree in music from Western Michigan University.
I eventually got an audition with her, and she hired me at the audition.
He credits Lynn for giving him his big break after he tried making a name for himself in Nashville. In the mid-90s, Lynn's manager was on the hunt for a banjo player.
So I said, well, I can play the banjo. And he didn't believe me at first. He called some studios and found out that, yeah, I could play the 5-string banjo.
The 1980 movie Coal Miner's Daughter, starring Sissy Spacek, brought recognition even outside the world of country music.
They're really super friends. I mean, you know, people don't realize Sissy Spacek lived with Loretta Lynn for a year on the road in that bus. And now, there's not a lot of room on a tour bus. That's how much work she put into that role.
Most of all, Vogel will miss having such a close friend with such a generous heart.
Knowing that I could call that lady at any time of day and she'd come to the window for me. Her smile, her laugh. Nobody was too low for her. She was just as real as anything ever. I've never met anybody like that. Everybody's going to miss her a lot.
Yeah, and Vogel told me that he got that gig with Lynn without actually owning his own banjo. Loretta Lynn herself bought him a banjo once he got the job.
That's incredible.
Yeah.
Kid from Creston High. He went to Western, wound up in Nashville, and he led the band for a country music icon.
Right. It's so great to hear his thoughts on her and, you know, have that knowledge, you know. That is,
Years of stories right there.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Thank you, Kyle.
To be a coal miner's daughter.
Tonight, the country music world saying goodbye to an icon. Loretta Lynn died at her home early this morning at the age of 90. The country sensation was known for her gritty and soulful songwriting. In fact, 51 of her songs became top 10 hits. She was the first woman to win Entertainer of the Year at the CMAs and at the Academy of Country Music.
In her decades-long career, she worked with countless musicians, one of them actually from Southeast Texas. 12 News reporter Simona Barca joins us live tonight with his story. Simona.
Brenda, David Varnado was Loretta Lynn's fiddle player in the early 2000s, but even after he left Nashville, they continued a lifelong friendship. As the world holds on to Loretta Lynn's music. David Varnado embraces pieces of Loretta.
This is my set list of her show. This was Loretta Lynn's show in 2000, and we kicked it off with Hey Loretta.
David Varnado is many things. A Port Arthur native, the most awarded fiddle player in America. But right now, he's a friend in mourning, reflecting on his many years as Loretta Lynn's fiddle player.
She was a wonderful lady to work for, absolutely the best. Funny, she liked making people laugh, and we built a relationship from there. She treated my family and me like one of her own kids.
He brought back a piece of Loretta to the Museum of the Gulf Coast.
We ask people that are being inducted to, it's always good to have something that people come to see that it has a personal touch to it.
When Varnado was inducted into the museum, he donated the suit he wore the first time he performed with Loretta Lynn.
She had me go down to one of the local tuxedo shops, and they fitted me for this tuxedo right here. I got to tell you, looking at that brings back so many memories. Pulling that jacket out of her closet and on the bus and putting it on, and I can still get the same feeling I had before.
What's that? What feeling is that?
Working for a world icon that believed in me as a fiddle player.
Now, pieces of her work will live on.
We're going to remember Loretta Lynn for the next 30 or 40 more years. Those people like that don't go away.
Varnado says Loretta made Nashville the country music powerhouse it is today, and he's forever grateful for jump-starting his.
She's been around a long time, come up from a holler, coal miner's daughter, and just about everybody here was coal miner's daughter, and she was a fabulous woman. She sure was. Her brother Herman, we rode four-wheelers, and back in the day, I knew him just like I knew my own brothers, you know. He was a good man. But things did change after she got, and I think women started singing more, and Tammy Wynette and her, you know, all the older ladies, and had a good influence on the woman singing in her career.
She had a big influence on this area, didn't she?
Yes, she did.
Yeah.
She sure did.
Yeah.
She sure did.
Yeah.
Herman, he ran the store for years, and he got sick that he wasn't able, and he passed away. But her legacy still goes on.
That's right. All right.
My name is Lisa Hinkle, and we just love Loretta. She has brought so much revenue to our county. I mean, and she brought music to the hills, and everybody loves her for that. And she was my grandmother's, was her biggest fan, and she watched that movie every time it came on television. Everybody around here did. But we have lost a legend for sure. I mean, she has inspired all these little girls everywhere in Kentucky. That doesn't matter where you come from, no matter if you're dirt poor, if you have it in your heart, you can make it no matter where you are. Like right here in Eastern Kentucky, you wouldn't think she'd have made it so big, but she's worldwide. They all know her, and we have really lost a legend. We really have.
When people ask me where I'm from, I tell them I'm from Eastern Kentucky, the same place as Loretta Lynn. She gave us so many reasons to be proud of where we're from. She just means so much to us, and she's such a pioneer, and you can't neglect to recognize that she is such a pioneer for women, and to grow up here as long ago as she did. I believe she was 90 years old when she died today, and she was, 14 years old here, and to just go out and conquer the world like she did as a little girl in Eastern Kentucky. You can't help but think for a minute that maybe you could do something like that too. She gave us all hope, and she gave us pride. She just makes me so proud to be from Eastern Kentucky, and I'm so glad to be up here to honor her today, and I will miss her, and I will continue to listen to her music until the day I die.
Hi, my name's Renee Penix. I'm from Michigan. I have family down here in Kentucky, and my heart's been broken today. Miss Loretta Lynn was just the best thing that this world could have ever had. She was and is the queen of country music. I'm here at her home place where she grew up. I just saw in concert Friday night her sister Crystal and Peggy Sue down in Paintsville. And I just want to send my condolences out to all the family. Thank you.
My name's Connie Webb. I'm Loretta Lynn's niece. My father was her brother, Herman Webb, and we lived here in Butcher Holler. My Aunt Loretta passed away peacefully in her sleep this morning, and she was one of the most charismatic people that you would ever want to meet. She was a very loving and smart woman. It would be hard for her to be replaced. I mean, there's no replacing her. people would call her the queen of country music, and she would always tell them that, no, I'm not the queen of country music. I'm the coal miner's daughter. And that was how real she was. She was Loretta, whether she was on stage or whether she was sitting in your kitchen talking to you. She was the same Loretta. She's going to be missed greatly.
Tributes have been paid to country music star Loretta Lynn, who has died at the age of 90. Born into poverty in rural Kentucky, she would go on to record 60 albums.
Well, I like my lovin' done country style, and this little girl would walk a country mile.
She was a US country music legend, her songs of heartache and hardship resonating well beyond the States. Her road to stardom was not an unfamiliar one for the genre. Her early years blighted by poverty. One of 8 children, her father a coal miner. It went on to be one of her signature songs.
Well, I was born a coal miner's daughter.
Married at 15, she would remain with her husband for nearly 50 years, their often tumultuous relationship providing inspiration for her work.
I guess there's a little bit of my life in every song I've written.
And despite her early hardships, there was a light side too.
They did make a lot of moonshine. And
moonshine is poaching. We call it poaching, Loretta.
You call it what?
Poaching.
Punchy.
Poaching, yeah. It's the same thing.
Well, you get punchy if you drink it.
Loretta Lynn was a groundbreaking artist, singing about subjects few other women at the time did.
Her first guitar cost $17, and with it, this coal miner's daughter gave voice to a generation, singing what no one wanted to talk about and saying what no one wanted to think about.
In later life, she again found success. This coal miner's daughter will be remembered as one of the greats.
Except the memories of a coal miner's daughter.
Country music star Loretta Lynn has passed away at the age of 90. A rep for the singer confirms to E! News. In a statement shared online, her family says, "Our precious mom, Loretta Lynn, passed away peacefully this morning, October 4th, in her sleep at home at her beloved ranch in Hurricane Mills." The message adds the family has asked for privacy as they continue to grieve and said they will announce plans for a memorial at a later time. Lynn was the second of 8 children and grew up in a log cabin with her family in Kentucky. She rose to stardom with her 1970 hit Coal Miner's Daughter, an ode to her late father Melvin Webb, who passed away from black lung disease in 1959. Hollywood icon Sissy Spacek would later play Lynn in a film of the same name.
Oh, if I hadn't cheated, and if I hadn't lied.
Spacek won the Best Actress Oscar for her portrayal. Throughout her career, Lynn had 24 #1 singles and 11 #1 albums. She is survived by 4 children. Following her passing, music stars paid tribute to her life and legacy online.
Tonight, Nashville is paying tribute to the country great music legend Loretta Lynn. Good evening and thanks for joining us for News 2 at 10. I'm Kenley Hargett. A public memorial at the Grand Ole Opry House honoring the coal miner's daughter gets underway in less than an hour, featuring appearances by some of the genre's biggest names. Now, News 2's Stephanie Langston spoke to fans who lined up more than 24 hours in advance and joins us live from the Opry House. Hey, Stephanie.
Hey there, well, this showing of support, a true testament to just how much Loretta Lynn was loved, from the incredible memorial lineup to this mass amount of fans, many making their way inside right now. But this line started in the overnight hours, and it wraps around the Grand Ole Opry House here, stretching past the Opry Mills parking lot and onto the hotel parking lot. Thousands of people waiting hours with hopes of getting inside. You know, Loretta told loved ones she wanted a memorial that her fans, who she often referred to as friends, could attend, and now that wish coming to fruition, not only for the country queen, but for those who have come from all over the world. First in line showed up at 3:30 this morning, while a mother and daughter I spoke with came all the way from England.
She's really down to earth. Her music is about her life, and she's true. She's always been my idol since I've been a little girl.
Makes you emotional.
It does. It's sad.
Loretta was just a normal, ordinary lady with love in her heart, kind, giving, never forgot her roots, and that's what I like about her.
No doubt a legacy that forever shaped the country music genre. George Strait, Keith Urban, and Alan Jackson are among those slated to perform at this celebration of life and music for Loretta Lynn. Now, we know 1,500 people got guaranteed seats inside once they signed up. This is a first-come, first-served kind of basis. The other 1,500 put on a waiting list, but I'd say there are many more that are still hoping they might be able to get a seat inside. I'm going to run inside and watch the show. We'll have highlights for you tonight right here on News 2 at 10 from the Memorial. Reporting live from the Grand Ole Opry House, Stephanie Langston, News 2.
Bill, how are you doing today after hearing about Loretta Lynn's passing?
Well, it wasn't the greatest way to start a day. Jeannie Seeley called me first thing this morning and told me about it, which I appreciated because I didn't have to hear it on the news. You know, I was able to hear it firsthand from a friend and a fellow Opry star.
What does this mean for country music, losing a legend like this?
Well, it's kind of the passing of an era, I guess. Our era is passing kind of rapidly right now. We've lost so many in the last few months and few years with the, you know, the passing of so many of our legends. But Loretta she was one of a kind. She was one of the great spirits of our business. You couldn't go in a room with Loretta and not feel good. She just made you feel good.
I've heard that a lot talking to other artists today. Walk me through your fondest memory with Loretta.
My fondest memory is I was part of the very first tour that she ever went on overseas. We went in 1970 to England, Scotland, Ireland, Holland, Norway, and Sweden. Now you take a little country girl from Butcher Holler, Kentucky, and put her in Royal Albert Hall in London. I mean, that was, what a great experience that was. You know, the British press can be kind of rough on you, on entertainers. They like to kind of chop you up a little bit. And one of the writers over there wrote something kind of negative about Loretta, and I'll never forget. The next night, we were playing 2 nights in London, and the next night Loretta went on stage, and she said, if that writer that wrote about me is here, I want you to come backstage. I'm going to whoop you all over the whole state of England.
Definitely, that is hilarious. That just shows just the type of person she was and the humor that she had.
Yeah, she had, she would stand up to anybody. Tenacity, I think, is a great word, because what she had to overcome just growing up and in her normal life. And then she had to kind of fight her way into the music business in the beginning. People accused her of being a copy of Kitty Wells, and she had a tough time in the very beginning. People don't remember that, but I saw that firsthand. But she was a fighter, but she fought with kid gloves, you know.
Talk to me about just her legacy and what it means to you.
Well, from having been around her from virtually the very beginning of her career, it's almost like we were kind of on parallel tracks for a while. We recorded for the same record label. We toured together an awful lot. And just seeing the way that she rose up and, of course, became so much bigger than the rest of us through the book and the the movie Coal Miner's Daughter, and just all of those wonderful things. She's just somebody that was, for somebody that puts together words for a living, it's hard to describe Loretta Lynn with words, because she was one of a kind.
So I have to ask, what's your favorite Loretta Lynn song?
My favorite Loretta Lynn song? Oh, golly. You know what? I caught myself the other day in the grocery store. Now, you talk about strange. I'm walking down the aisle in the grocery store, and I guess I had just heard this on the radio, maybe on the way or something. I'm walking down the aisle in the grocery store singing, I was born to coal miner's daughter. People looking at me, you're a coal miner? No. It may sound kind of cliche, but that's probably my favorite Loretta song.
Is it one of those songs that just kind of just erupts in your spirit?
Oh, yeah, it does. That and then Blue Kentucky Girl. I mean, there were so many, you know, that were autobiographical. And, of course, the great duets that she and Conway did together and she and Ernest Tubb did together. So many great songs. At least we'll always have those. We won't have Loretta, but we'll always have those songs.
Awesome. What would be something you would miss about her specifically?
I think just that spirit. That I don't know any other way to describe it. I'll miss that. I'll miss the fact that she could just walk in a room and light it up. Not a lot of people can do that.
Very true. Thank you so much, Bill. Is there anything else you would want to say or add just to our
Yeah, you know, one of the first things I thought of today was it was a happy day in heaven for Conway Twitty. I'm sure he saw Loretta coming in, and he said, hello, darling. It's been a long time.
I see that just brings emotion to you.
Well, they were both such good friends of mine.
What's going through your mind? What's going through your mind?
Just how lucky I am to have known all these people. Loretta, Kenny Rogers, Roger Miller, Jimmy Dean, all the ones that we've lost. I was so lucky because I got to know them, not just as performers, but as friends, as human beings. They made the world a better place.
So sorry, Bill, for your loss and just for the loss of country music, bands and artists. It's definitely a tough time. But you have those memories to go on and live on with, you know?
We have the memories and we have the music, and they can't take that away.
Nashville reacts to the loss of a legend. Country music icon Loretta Lynn has passed away at the age of 90. She spent decades at her ranch in Hurricane Mills in Humphreys County. Lynn's career saw plenty of hits, including her autobiographical song, Coal Miner's Daughter.
Yeah, I'm proud to be a coal miner's daughter.
Loretta Lynn's rags to riches story is well known. A coal miner's daughter who became a queen of country music. She was the second of Clara and Melvin Webb's 8 children. Born in Butcher Hollow, part of the Appalachia Hill Country in Kentucky. Her life during the Great Depression did not offer many advantages. She grew up without electricity, indoor plumbing, and only completed the 8th grade. As a young teen, she married Oliver Vanetta Lynn. She nicknamed him Do or Doolittle. He was 21. A decade later, Loretta Lynn was a mother of 4, playing guitar and writing songs at home. With her husband's encouragement, she entered a talent competition and was spotted by a record producer. Her first song, Honky Tonk Girl, was a minor hit, and the Lynn family moved to Nashville. Her marriage had its share of troubles, many of which spilled over into her songs.
You ain't woman enough to take my man.
Lynn said her husband had problems with alcohol and her long absences on the road. They went on to have a total of 6 kids, but family life was not always harmonious. Touring took a toll on her health. She battled chronic illnesses and exhaustion. Her best-selling autobiography chronicled her hardships, heartache, and rise to stardom.
I can't sing in front of people. I just can't.
Sissy Spacek won an Oscar playing her on the big screen.
Well, I was born the coal miner's daughter.
In 2004, Lynn would make a huge comeback, recording the highly acclaimed album Van Leer Rose, produced by Jack White. She would be nominated for 5 Grammys for the album, winning 2, including Best Country Album. Lynn brought a strong female point of view to country music and was seen as a homespun advocate for ordinary women.
Well, they say that I'm too country, the way I look and sound.
Her career spanned half a century, generating dozens of #1 songs. From humble beginnings to country music royalty, Lynn never dreamed of being such a success.
I don't think you can dream for success because I think it's more or less you have to work for it.
Her hard work paid off with a lifetime of awards, including the Presidential Medal of Freedom in 2013. And as for inspiring future performers, she said they needed to be one of 3 things.
Great, different or first, and I just happened to be different because I started writing my own songs and didn't really realize that the things that I was writing about, nobody wanted to talk about them. They were just doing them, you know?
Loretta's impact goes way beyond the country community. People from all over are remembering the icon tonight. Those remembrances will last throughout the week. Fox 17 News' Caitlin Miller joining us live from outside the Ryman Auditorium with more on what the Mother Church is doing to honor her legacy. Caitlin.
Well, Megan, people are coming to the Ryman Auditorium to lay flowers next to her statue. Now, this used to be a very special place to Loretta because it used to be the site of the Grand Ole Opry. And ever since Loretta was a little girl, she dreamed of seeing this building. And the Grand Ole Opry told me today that she's one of their most valued members. Country music legend T.G. Shepherd and his wife Kelly Wing say they are devastated by Loretta Lynn's passing. Loretta's family says she passed away peacefully in her sleep at her ranch in Hurricane Mills.
When you awake in the morning and you know you've just lost a treasure, it's kind of heartbreaking.
T.G. Shepherd went on tour with Loretta, and they appeared on the show Hee Haw together. Shepherd says Loretta symbolizes the American dream for anyone who wants to make it in country music.
Loretta Lynn to me was one of the strongest forces that helped propel country music worldwide.
Several other country music legends like Dolly Parton shared beautiful words about Loretta. Dolly Parton says we've been like sisters all of the years, and she was a wonderful human being. Loretta was inducted into more music halls of fame than any female recording artist and was the first female to win CMA Entertainer of the Year. Superstar Miranda Lambert was by her side when Loretta celebrated 50 years at the Grand Ole Opry.
Every time I'm around her, I just realize what she's done for women in country music. And, you know, the reason that I feel like I get to stand up here is because of what she laid the groundwork for. And
Loretta was a member of the Opry for 60 years.
There's so many memories at the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, you ain't sang unless you've been on the Grand Ole Opry.
And they are honoring Loretta all week and dedicating Saturday night's show to her.
I don't think we'll ever be able to measure Loretta's impact on either country music or the Grand Ole Opry. I mean, Coal Miner's Daughter, the movie alone, introduced millions and millions of people to this wonderful show we have here in Nashville.
Grand Ole Opry's Dan Rogers says she's one of a kind, and there will never be another one like her. And even though Loretta Lynn is no longer with us, her family, friends, and fans say that her music will be cherished forever. Reporting live from the Ryman Auditorium, I'm Caitlin Miller, Fox 17 News, your Code Red station.
The country music community honoring the legacy of the country music legend. Fellow country star Reba McEntire released a statement saying Loretta reminded her a lot of her own mother. Reba says both were strong women who loved their children and were fiercely loyal. Now they're both in heaven, getting to visit and talk about how they were raised, how different country music is now from what it was when they were young. The Country Music Association releasing a statement as well, saying, "We are heartbroken to learn about the passing of Loretta Lynn, the coal miner's daughter." She inspired generations of female musicians and has forever left a mark on country music's history. Our deepest sympathy goes out to her family and loved ones during this difficult time. Loretta Lynn is credited with inspiring musicians for the generations that followed. Among them, Carrie Underwood. She shared the story of the first time she met the icon. In a tweet, she says, "The first time I met Loretta Lynn was at the Grand Ole Opry at the beginning of my career. I was chatting in the corner with another artist and someone walked behind me and smacked me on the rear end. I turned around and there she was in a big sparkly dress." What a memory that was. Country Music Hall of Fame inducted Loretta Lynn in 1988 and released her 46th solo album just last year. The Hall says Lynn's ability to draw from her life experiences and have it resonate with people everywhere showed her desire to share the brave truth in a business that is often concerned with fantasy.
Country icon Loretta Lynn was laid to rest today on her ranch grounds in Hurricane Mills. The singer passed away peacefully in her sleep Tuesday morning at her home. Stephanie Langston there now on the grounds today for the farewell in Humphreys County that you will see only on News 2.
Well, it was as though the wildlife here on the grounds stood still. A peaceful moment as Loretta was transported from the mansion to the family cemetery, and a monumental moment that some fans were able to witness.
Pretty surreal, pretty sad.
In the hills of Humphreys County.
It's very, very sad.
Down a winding road on the public grounds of Loretta's famed ranch.
I never thought I'd be here for this. Never expected it.
This wasn't the plan for any of these Loretta fans.
It is. It's just humbling. I mean, my heart is hurt, but it's very humbling just to be here. Yes, very surreal.
These sisters from Indiana planned their trip months ago. They grew up on Loretta's music.
We were poor, but we had love.
Inspired by the story of a coal miner's daughter.
I just thought that was wonderful that someone could come from the hills or whatever, and then they became so famous, and she loved her fans, and they all loved her.
Today, that love illustrated in a memorial outside of the mansion gates, where fans have left support for Loretta's mourning family.
I know how our hearts feel. I can only imagine how her family feels.
Loretta's family at peace, knowing the Queen is now home in heaven with plans for a public service to come. Reporting from Hurricane Mills, Stephanie Langston, News 2.
A 12-year-old Corbin boy describes himself as Loretta Lynn's biggest fan. We've introduced you to presidential expert Reed Elliott before during our Spotlight series. Well, today I spoke with the self-described old soul about the lasting legacy of the Queen of Country Music and just how much she meant to him. When Reed Elliott's mom picked him up from school early today, he knew something had happened. She broke the news to him that his idol, Loretta Lynn, had passed away at the age of 90.
I just started bawling. But you gotta keep going. I mean, you can't stop time. You just have to keep going.
Reed has been a super fan of the superstar since he first saw the movie Coal Miner's Daughter back in 2020.
I knew she was a very special lady because she was from our state, and she is just an inspiring woman that just led others to be like her, and I just love her to death. Oh, I love her. I love her so much.
Reed has had opportunities to share his love of Lynn by singing at her birthday bash at her Tennessee ranch. He even had a chance to visit her star on the Hollywood Walk of Fame. And Reed plans to pay tribute to her the best way he knows how.
And I'm also going to honor her by singing about her, tell stories about her to younger generation.
Reed never got to meet Lynn in person, but says she's been a role model to him and many others.
I think people can learn from her and how to do some stuff if they're having a hard time, because Loretta Lynn's definitely had some hard times, so people can learn from her.
Reed knows tough times. He's a 2-time cancer survivor, but his enthusiasm for living and overcoming obstacles is something he shared with the Queen of Country Music.
Coming from the Appalachian Mountains with nothing to this incredible woman that's accomplished so much in her life.
What a joy to talk to Reed.
Well, Loretta Lynn means a lot to the people living in and around Hurricane Mills, the small Humphreys County community, very tight-knit.
Well, this afternoon, her body was transported from her home to a funeral home in Waverly. Stephanie Langston was there for that. Stephanie, I know that was emotional.
It was a very emotional day, no doubt, Alex. We know that Loretta has touched lives all across the world, but especially those here in Humphreys County, where she holds a special place in the hearts of this community that she called home. Now, throughout the day, we have seen a number of fans of all ages come visit, pay their respects, drop off flowers like you see the gentleman doing there, and take photos here outside of the mansion. You know, despite the country music singer's fame, Loretta was simply a neighbor to those here in this small community.
She was a sweet person. Back in the day when I was younger, we could see her in Walmart and everybody would be so ecstatic to see her. And her husband, Mooney, was so down to earth. So they were really good people.
Now, Loretta's support immeasurable for this county, most recently helping raise money for flood victims like Lisa that you heard from there. She brought her grandchildren out today to drop off flowers. Humphreys County Sheriff Chris Davis leading the escort for Loretta this afternoon in the black SUV to Luff Bowen Funeral Home in Waverly. Now, I'm told that Loretta will be brought back here to the grounds for a private burial service with the family only, and that plans for a public memorial will be coming in the coming days. Reporting live from Hurricane Mills, Stephanie Langston, News 2.
Out on Highway 13 in the middle of Humphreys County sits a small town called Hurricane Mills. That is home to the ranch of Loretta Lynn. And Carrie and Vicki, you know, over the years, Loretta's ranch and property became a gathering spot for many fans.
That's right, and today Jason Lamb spent some time there to see how they are coping with such a big loss.
He says many made the plans to visit long before news of Loretta's death broke.
Throughout the day, fans, mourners, just about everybody showed up to the Loretta Lynn Ranch to say goodbye to someone they saw less like a country music icon and more like a friend.
On a day as momentous as this, at a place as meaningful as this, side trips are required.
She's a legend. She is country music, and that's country music is your heart, and that's Loretta Lynn.
Ginger Stevens had traveled from Kentucky to nearby Camden when she heard the news that brought her to Loretta's ranch.
She sings about real stuff. She sings about life that we all experience throughout, you know, our journeys, and you connect with that, and that's what makes it Loretta Lynn so great.
Linda Whipple was traveling from Arizona and made plans to be here long before today.
I wanted my daughter to see it most of all, since she had never been here, and I wanted to bring her before I pass away.
Little did Linda know, she and her daughter would see so much more than just the ranch. Loretta's journey away from her beloved sanctuary.
I wanted to cry, but I know that she's up in heaven looking down on all of us, each and every one of us.
At the place Loretta loved most, the people Loretta loved most are asking for privacy tonight. Her fans are happy to oblige with some parting words for the family of a legend.
I want the family to know that, you know, the whole country is, that they are in our thoughts and prayers, and we would love to just give them as much comfort as much as we can, because she was greatly loved, greatly loved.
Jason Lamb, News Channel 5.
We're going to do this especially for Loretta tonight, and this song brings a lot of peace to a lot of people, and I hope it does to her family and all the people that love Loretta Lynn. know your life on earth was troubled, and only you could know the pain. You weren't afraid to face the devil. You were no stranger to the rain. Gold is high on that mountain. Girl, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Oh, how we cried the day you left us. We gathered round your grave to grieve. Wish I could see the angels' faces when they hear your sweet voice sing. Gold rests high on that mountain, 'cause girl, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. You're safely home in the arms of Jesus. Eternal life, Loretta's found. The day will come, I know we'll see that sacred place on that holy ground. Gold is high on that mountain, 'cause girl, your work on earth is done. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son. Go to heaven and shout love for the Father and the Son.
Well, I was born to coal miner's daughter in a cabin on a hill in Butcher Holler. We were poor, but we had love. That's the one thing that Daddy made sure of. He shoveled coal to make a poor man's dollar. My daddy worked all night in the van near coal mine, all day long in a field of hoeing corn. Mommy rocked the babies at night and read the Bible by the coal oil light.
Mississippi River can't keep us apart. There's too much love in this Mississippi heart.
Too much love in this Louisiana heart.
Oh, see the alligator all waiting nearby. Sooner or later they know I'm gonna try. When she waved from the bank, don't you know I know it's a goodbye fishing line. See you while I go. With a Louisiana woman waiting on the other side, the Mississippi River don't look so wide. Hey, Louisiana woman,
Mississippi man,
we get together every time we can. The Mississippi River can't keep us apart. There's too much love in this Mississippi heart.
Too much love in this Louisiana heart. Well, I thought I'd been in love, but I never had the lives wrapped in the arms of a Mississippi man. When he holds me close, well, it feels almost like another hurricane just to rip the coast. If he can't come to me, I'm gonna go to him. That Mississippi River, Lord, I'm gonna swim.
Hey, Louisiana woman,
Mississippi man,
we get together every time we can. The Mississippi River can't keep us apart. There's too much love in this Mississippi heart.
Too much love in this Louisiana heart.
Well, the Mississippi River, Lord, is 1 mile wide, and I'm gonna get me to the other side.
Mississippi man, I'm losing my mind. Gotta have your old love running one more time.
Well, I'm gonna jump in the river, and here I go. Too bad, alligator, you swim too slow. Hey, Louisiana woman,
Mississippi man,
we get together every time we can. The Mississippi River can't keep us apart. There's too much love in this Mississippi heart.
Too much love in this Louisiana heart.
Too much love in this Mississippi heart.
Too much love in this Louisiana heart. You've come to tell me something you say I ought to know. That he don't love me anymore, and I'll have to let him go. You say you're gonna take him, oh, but I don't think you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough to take my man. Women like you, they're dime a dozen, you can find anywhere. For you to get to him, I'd have to move over, and I'm gonna stand right here. It'll be over my dead body, so get out while you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough to take my man. Oh, right there now. Sometimes a man's caught looking at things that he don't need. He took a second to look at you, but he's in love with me. Well, I don't know where that leaves you, oh, but I know where I stand. And you ain't woman enough to take my man. Women like you, they're dime a dozen, you can buy them anywhere. For you to get to him, I'd have to move over, and I'm gonna stand right here. It'll be over my dead body, so get out while you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough to take my man. No, you ain't woman enough to take my man.
I made a promise that I'd never lead you on, but I feel the yearn to love you, even though I know it's wrong.
You'll have to take my hand and lead me slowly through the door. I'll be wrong in what I'm doing. I can't refuse you anymore. Lead me on, take control. How I feel you want me, I'll go with you, but you'll have to lead me on. Lead me on, take control of how I feel. I can't do this on my own. On my it's against my will.
But I need love, warm and tender, in a way I've never known.
If you want me, I'll go with you, but you'll have to lead me on. Now you've been making your brags around town that you've been a love of my man. But the man I love, when he picks up trash, he puts it in a garbage can. And that's what you look like to me. And what I see is a pity. You better close your face and stay out of my way if you don't want to go to Fish City. If you don't want to go to Fish City, you better detour around my town. 'Cause I'll grab you by the hair of the head and I'll lift you off of the ground. I'm not saying my baby's the same, 'cause he ain't that he won't cat around with a kitty. I'm here to tell you, gotta lay off of my man if you don't want to go to Fish City. Come on and tell me what you told my friends if you think you're brave enough. And I'll show you what a real woman is, since you think you're hot stuff. You bite off more than you can chew. If you get too cute or witty, you better move your feet. If you don't want to eat a meal that's called Fish City. If you don't want to go to Fish City, you better detour around my town. 'Cause I'll grab you by the hair of the head and I'll lift you off of the ground. I'm not a saying my baby's the same, 'cause he ain't that he won't cat around with a kitty. I'm here to tell you, gotta lay off of my man if you don't want to go to Fish City. I'm here to tell you, gotta lay off of my man if you don't want to go to Fish City. You left me for the bright lights of the town. A country boy set out to see the world. Remember when those city lights shine down? That big old moon shines on your Kentucky girl. I swear I love you by the moon above you. How bright is it shining in your world? Some morning when you wake up all alone, just come on home to your blue Kentucky girl. Don't wait to bring great riches home to me. I need no diamond rings or behaving, spending all of your pay on wine, women and song. Well, I'ma make 'em bet you're out, I'll make 'em time. You rob my piggy bank and spend my last 10 dime on wine, women and song. Well, one of these nights you're gonna come home, you'll find it's coming home to you. You see what you've done and what's good for one, it's also good for two. When you're in the doghouse with that mangy old putt, you may start to thinking and a giving up your wine, woman and song. Well, one of these nights you're gonna come home, you'll find it's coming home to you. You see what you've done and what's good for one, it's also good for two. When you're in the doghouse with that mangy old putt, you may start to thinking and a giving up your wine, woman and song.
Miss Loretta Lynn.
Well, on a Friday night, you draw your pay and you take into town. You're leaving me at home just to lose my mind while you're out messing around. Well, it's 4 in the morning and you're staggering in, and you sure look a mess, with a smile on your face and outstretched arms and a bargain basement dress. I wouldn't wear that dress to a dog fight if the fight was free, and a bargain basement dress ain't enough to get your arms around me. Well, you say when a man works hard all week, he deserves to pay or rest. Well, honey, that ain't right, so get out of my sight with that bargain basement dress. I wouldn't wear that dress to a dog fight if the fight was free, and a bargain basement dress ain't enough to get your arms around me. Well, I took all I'm gonna take, and I'm leaving you the rest. Tell you what I'll do, I'll just leave you that bargain basement dress. Tell you what I'll do, I'll just leave you that old bargain basement dress.
Just lead us on till we know where we're going. If I told you that I loved you, could we slip away where the lights are low? And if I put my arms around you, held you close, could you tell me no?
Well, you know that I'd be lying if I said I wasn't trying to let you know I'd go. Let love take us where we've never been before.
Just lead us on till we know where we're going. You don't know how long I've wanted to have you where you are right now. With you looking soft and pretty, ain't no telling where we're bound.
Now here we are together, too close for talking, I can't tell you no. Let love take us where we've never been before. Sailor, just lead us on till we know where we're going.
Come on in here and let's do one of the songs off of our brand new album. Okay. One of my favorite songs.
So sexy, I know from the feeling it comes from the heart.
Easy loving, every day's Thanksgiving, to count all my blessings. I wouldn't know where to start. Every time I look you over, so real to life it seems.
When upon your pretty shoulder there's a pair of angel wings.
Living in a beautiful dream. Every time I look you over, so real to life it seems.
Yeah, upon your pretty shoulder there's a pair of angel wings.
Where you been? It's the same old question again. What's the use, baby? What's the use? They ain't never gonna turn us loose. You got dirt all over your face. Whoa, your lipstick is way out of place. Are we gonna tell them what we tell them every time before? They won't leave us alone. They want us to come home. We've been a busy making merry and picking wild mountain berries. We're picking wild mountain berries. That's our excuse every time. We've been a busy making merry and picking wild mountain berries. From letting it show. What's your plans? Tell me what's your plan. Ah, you know they won't understand. My hair is a dripping away. Whoa, my clothes are soaking wet. And we didn't go skinny dipping in a cement pond. Whoa, you're my living, and you act like the whole wide world owes you a living. Yeah, you tell me you can get any girl you know. You say you got what it takes. To me, you're just a heartache. Well, get what you got and go. You think you're the greatest thing in this whole town. Oh, number one with everyone. No one can put you down. Every night you go downtown where the go-go's go. Well, you think it's so hot, and you tell me I'm not. So get what you got and go. You better wipe that sneaky smile off of your face, 'cause I'm a-getting ready to knock it off and I put you in your place. Just like the wall-to-wall, the wind, all you do is blow. You say I'm holding you back. Well, honey, I'll help you pack. So get what you got and go. You think you're the greatest thing in this whole town. Oh, number one with everyone. No one can put you down. Every night you go downtown where the go-go's go. Well, you think it's so hot, and you tell me I'm not. So get what you got and go. I want to tell you all a story about a Harper Valley widowed wife who had a teenage daughter who attended Harper Valley Junior High. Well, her daughter came home one afternoon and didn't even stop to play. And she said, Mama, got a note here from the Harper Valley PTA. Well, a note said, Mrs. Johnson, you're wearing your dress is way too high. It's been reported you've been drinking, running around with men and going wild. And we don't believe you ought to be bringing up your little girl this way. And it was signed by the Harper Valley Secretary, PTA. Skirt into the room, and when she walked up to the blackboard, I can still recall the words she had to say. She said, I'd like to address this meeting of the Harper Valley PTA. Well, her coffee time 7 times he's asked me for a day. And Mrs. Johnson seems to use a whole lot of ice whenever he's away. And Mr. Baker, can you tell us why your secretary had to leave this town? Never mind. And shouldn't Widow Jones be told to keep her window shades off, pull some pieces down? Mr. Harper couldn't be here 'cause he stayed too long at Kelly's bar again. And if you smell Shirley Thompson's breath, you'll find she's had a little nip of gin. Tell me, you think that as a mother I'm not fit. Well, this is just a little pain place and you're all Harper Valley hypocrite. No, I wouldn't put you on because it really did. It happened just this way, it sure is. The day my mama socked it to the Harper Valley PTA. You say you're gonna take him, oh, but I don't think you can. 'Cause you ain't woman enough to take my man. Women like you, there are times and you can find.
One glad morning when this life is o'er, I'll fly away to a home on God's celestial shore. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. Just a few more weary days and then I'll fly away to a home where joy shall never end. I'll fly away. I'll fly away, oh glory. I'll fly away in the morning when I die. Hallelujah, by and by. I'll fly away. My evening sun is sinking fast. My race is nearly run. My earthly trials now are past. My triumph is